Let's not waste time with pleasantries. You're living in the middle of an epidemic, and you probably don't even see it. Male loneliness, yes, that silent, invisible plague, creeps through your life and the lives of men around you. It's not a headline, it's not a trending hashtag, but it's everywhere. And the most insidious part, most men, maybe even you, deny it exists at all. Society has sold you a lie. The lie that strength means silence, that self-sufficiency is the highest virtue, and you were told, don't complain, don't show weakness, handle it yourself. But let's call this what it is, a gilded cage. The Stoics, real Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, never said to cut yourself off from the world. They spoke of self-mastery, not self-isolation. There's a difference between being self-reliant and being a ghost in your own life. You walk through crowds, you shake hands, you nod at colleagues, but inside, a desert, parched. The illusion of strength is just that, an illusion. You tell yourself you don't need anyone, that you're the lone wolf. But wolves die alone. The pack survives. Machiavelli wrote that a wise man builds alliances, not walls. Yet here you are, brick by brick, walling yourself in. Ask yourself, when was the last time you spoke honestly to another man? When did you last admit you were struggling? Or do you just keep the mask on, hoping no one notices the cracks? This is the cost of silence, the price of denial. Loneliness isn't just sadness, it's a slow erosion. It eats away at your mind, your body, your purpose. Here's the truth. You can keep pretending or you can face the reality. The world doesn't reward the silent sufferer. It forgets him. If you want to survive, no. If you want to live, you must confront the plague. Strategy, not stubbornness. Connection, not camouflage. Self-mastery means knowing when to reach out, not just when to endure. So, what will you choose? The comfort of illusion or the discomfort of truth? Remember, a fortress built on isolation is a tomb, and you were not born to be buried alive. You've been lied to since you could walk. Men don't need connection. That's the creed, isn't it? Whispered in locker rooms, hammered into you by fathers who learned it from their fathers. The world taught you that a man's worth is measured in silence, in how little he needs from others. But let's strip away the myth. This isn't strength, it's a mask, a cheap, brittle thing that cracks the moment you're alone. You wear it every day, the stoic facade. But do you even know what real stoicism is? Marcus Aurelius wrote about facing hardship with courage, yes. But he also wrote about brotherhood, about duty to the whole. He never said to cut out your heart and bury it under stone. The mask you wear isn't stoicism, it's cowardice dressed up as virtue. Let me give you a metaphor you can't ignore. You built yourself a fortress. High walls, thick gates, no windows. You think you're safe? But what is a fortress when you never leave? It's not protection, it's a prison. The same walls that keep pain out also keep life out. You pace the halls, king of nothing, prisoner of your own design. Why do you cling to this? Is it pride, fear, habit? Ask yourself who you're really protecting. The world doesn't care about your mask, it only notices your absence. Here's the solution. Tear it off. Step out of the fortress. Real strength isn't in how well you hide, but in how honestly you live. Strategy, not stubbornness. Self-mastery isn't about denying your needs, it's about owning them. The consequence of staying hidden, a life half-lived, a soul starved for connection. So I ask you, will you keep polishing your mask, or will you finally let the world see your face? Remember, no man was ever remembered for the walls he built, only for the bridges he dared to cross. Let's cut through the bullshit. You've built your identity on a lie. The lie that independence means never needing anyone. That self-reliance is some sacred altar. You've romanticized the lone wolf, that rugged fantasy of solitude. But here's the truth. The lone wolf dies. Wolves survive in packs. Only in your delusion does isolation equal strength. You're not a wolf, you're a ghost, haunting your own life. Think you're free? You're chained. That fantasy of total autonomy, it's a slow suicide. Every hour you spend alone, every connection you sever, you rot from the inside. Isolation isn't freedom, it's acid. It eats your mind, your health, your capacity to even feel. The Stoics didn't preach solitude, they preached mastery over weakness. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he wrote, "We are made for cooperation." You've twisted wisdom into a cage. How many nights have you spent convincing yourself you don't need anyone? How many times have you called it strength when it's just fear? The myth of the lone wolf isn't noble. It's a survival tactic for the emotionally crippled. Real wolves hunt together. Real men build alliances. Machiavelli warned that princes who isolate themselves fall. Yet here you are, playing king of an empty kingdom. Let's get surgical. Your independence is a performance, a mask to hide the terror of being known. You cling to it because vulnerability feels like failure. But here's the brutal math. Men who live alone are more likely to die by suicide. Loneliness shreds your immune system like radiation. You want the truth? Here it is. Loneliness is not just a feeling, it's a disease that eats you alive from the inside out. You think you're immune because you're a man, because you keep your head down and soldier on. Think again. The numbers don't lie. Only a small percentage of men have 6 close friends. Many have none at all. That's a massive increase in men with no close friends since the past decades. This is not a phase. This is a crisis. You want to know what happens when you let isolation fester? Depression, anxiety, addiction, early death. Loneliness is a silent killer, as lethal as smoking daily. It raises your risk of cancer, heart disease, stroke, and dementia. It shreds your immune system, wrecks your sleep, and poisons your mind with hopelessness. Men who are lonely are more likely to die from cancer-related causes, more likely to take their own lives. In some countries, suicide accounts for a significant portion of all deaths in young men. You think you're just toughing it out? Number, you're circling the drain. But the damage doesn't stop with you. The ripples of your isolation spread out, infecting your relationships, your work, your community. Loneliness makes you irritable, angry, withdrawn. It hollows out your friendships, makes your marriage brittle, and turns your workplace into a battlefield of suspicion and resentment. Even when you try to connect, it backfires. Lonely men often sabotage their own interactions, making others pull away, fueling a cycle of self-fulfilling prophecy. You become harder to be around, and before you know it, you're not just alone, you're radioactive. And here's the Machiavellian truth: the world is not kind to the weak. Weakness is not just a personal failing, it's a liability. In politics, in business, in life, those who are isolated are easy prey. Machiavelli warned that a man who hesitates, who refuses to act, who hides behind the illusion of safety, guarantees his own destruction. The world exploits the lonely. Manipulators spot your vulnerability and use it against you, whether it's in the boardroom, the bedroom, or the back alley. You become a pawn in someone else's game. So what's the solution? Ruthless honesty. Face the brutal reality. Stop hiding behind the mask of self-reliance and start building real alliances. Self-mastery isn't about enduring pain in silence. It's about knowing when to reach out, when to fight for connection, when to armor yourself with true strength, not just the appearance of it. If you keep waiting, keep pretending, you're not just risking your happiness, you're gambling with your life. You have a choice: remain a victim of this silent epidemic, or become the architect of your own rescue. Here's the truth you keep dodging.
No one is coming to save you from your loneliness. The world rewards strategy, not sentiment. If you want to break free, you need to master yourself, and that means embracing the one thing you've been taught to fear: vulnerability. You think it's weakness? You've been lied to. Vulnerability is the crucible where real strength is forged. You want to survive? Stop building walls and start forging alliances. The lone wolf myth is dead. Men who thrive, at work, in life, in love, are the ones who can open up, admit their struggles, and invite others in. Marcus Aurelius didn't conquer an empire by hiding in his own mind. He built networks, sought counsel, and understood that a man alone is a man exposed. Machiavelli would tell you the same. Alliances are power. Isolation is a liability. Comfort is the enemy of progress. You want change? Take action. Reach out. Join a group. Pick up the phone. Show up for someone else. Find a club, a team, a cause, anything that forces you to step outside your comfort zone and into connection. Don't confuse digital likes with real bonds. Make time for face-to-face moments that actually mean something. If you're not ready to bare your soul, start small. Share a story, a joke, a struggle. Watch the door to real friendship crack open. Self-mastery isn't about suffering in silence. It's about knowing when to seek help, when to build, when to risk being seen. The consequence of inaction is clear: stagnation, decay, a life half-lived. The solution is ruthless in its simplicity. Choose connection over comfort, strategy over stubbornness, action over apathy. So, what will it be? Another day behind the fortress walls, or the first step toward building your own brotherhood? Remember, a man who never reaches out dies in the dark. The one who dares to connect writes his own legend.